Hello everyone. So in this session, I am going to take arterial blood gas interpretation. Myself Dheeraj Nayak, Assistant Professor cum Respiratory Therapist, Department of Respiratory Therapy, Yenepoya School of Allied Health Sciences, Yenepoya. So these are the specific learning objective for this particular session. After attending this session, the attendants will be able to assess the advantage of the ABG, list the indication and contraindication for the ABG, explain the components of ABG reports, explain the systemic approach to the ABG interpretation. Coming to the introduction, arterial blood gas is the diagnostic procedure in which blood sample is obtained from the artery either by arterial puncture or assessed from the invading arterial catheter. So most commonly the arterial sampling which will be taken from the radial artery, as it has the collateral circulation and it has the superficial artery. So ABG helps clinician diagnose respiratory and metabolic disorders, monitor disease progression and guides the therapeutic interventions like oxygen therapy and mechanical ventilation. So this ABG will be helpful whether escalation or the de-escalation of the oxygen therapy or the mechanical ventilation, that will be decided based on the ABG reports. And these are the advantage of analyzing the ABG report, that is aids in the establishing either respiratory or the metabolic disease condition. For example, most of the respiratory condition, that is type 1 and type 2 respiratory failure, that will be assessed with help of the ABG reports. Second one, that is guides the treatment plan. So whether we have to initiate the oxygen therapy or the mechanical ventilation, that will be based on the ABG reports, and aids in the ventilator management, whether we are going to change the ventilator parameter or the escalation or the de-escalation of the ventilator parameter, that is based on the ABG reports. And improvement in the acid-base management allow for the optimal functioning of all the medications, and acid-base abnormality may alter the electrolytes level critical to the patient clinical status. And these are the indication for the ABG, and that is assess the oxygenation, ventilation and the acid base parameters. So oxygenation parameter, that will be assessed with help of PaCO₂ and SaO₂ from the ABG, and the ventilation parameter, that will be assessed by PaCO₂ from the ABG, and acid base status with help of the pH, and assess the response to clinical interventions and diagnostic evaluation, that is oxygen therapy and the mechanical ventilation, and assess the severity and progression of a disease process. And these are the contraindication to obtain a ABG sample, that is bleeding, infection and presence of lesion or the surgical AV fistula, and severe peripheral vascular disease and anticoagulation therapy. And these are the major component of ABG report. That is first one, patient data that we are going to enter manually during ABG sampling, that is patient name and the patient unique hospital ID. Second one, clinical status, that is fractional inspired oxygen or respiratory rate or the ventilator parameters, and pH, arterial oxygen tension, arterial CO2 tension, bicarbonate level, that is in millimoles per liter, and base X, hemoglobin, oxygen content, oxygen saturation and serum electrolytes. So major serum electrolyte that will obtain from the ABG are sodium, potassium, bicarbonate and the chloride. So coming to the each definition, so pH, that is a negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. So it will show whether the blood is acidity or the alkalinity, and normal range of arterial blood pH, that is ranges from 7.35 to 7.45. So PaO₂, that is partial pressure of oxygen that is dissolved in the arterial blood. So normal value of 80 to 100 mmHg. So you have to always interpret PaO₂ with help of reference range of FiO2. So targeted minimum value is 60 mmHg. So whatever the PaO₂ less than 60 mmHg, ideally we are going to initiate a oxygen therapy for the patient. So PaCO₂, that is partial pressure of carbon dioxide dissolved in the arterial blood. So normal range of arterial CO2 level, that is 35 to 45 mmHg, and always we have to interpret PaCO₂ levels with the help of minute ventilation of the patients. Coming to the bicarbonate, that is HCO₃, that is the amount of bicarbonate dissolved in the blood. So normal range, that is 22 to 26 millimoles per liter, and changes could be primarily due to metabolic acid base disturbance or compensatory to the respiratory disorder. So when you have the primary metabolic condition, so definitely there will be a decrease or the increase of the bicarbonate level, or the primary disorder of respiratory condition as a compensatory mechanism. So this bicarbonate will compensate for the particular PaCO₂. So base excess, that is the amount of acid required to restore a 1 liter of blood to its normal pH at a PaCO₂ of 40 mmHg. So normal range, that is -2 to +2 milliequivalents per liter. So when we have the positive base excess, that indicates a metabolic alkalosis. So when you have the negative base excess, that will indicate a metabolic acidosis. So SaO2, that is the percentage of available hemoglobin that is saturated with oxygen. So SaO2 that can be calculated with help of contained by the capacity of the hemoglobin. So when a PaO2 and the hemoglobin are within the normal limit, but O2 saturation and the content are low, that will give a clue that any defective abnormal hemoglobin in the blood. So coming to the main topic, that is stepwise interpretation of ABG. So there are six steps of systemic interpretation. So step 1, that is we have to evaluate the pH and we have to bring the definitive disorder. That is when we have the pH less than 7.35, it indicates a acidosis. So when the pH greater than 7.45, it indicates a alkalosis. So step 2, we have to evaluate PaO2 and bicarbonate from the ABG report. So PaCO2, it will indicate a respiratory component, bicarbonate which will indicate a metabolic component in the ABG reports. So if the primary cause for acid base disturbance is respiratory, pH and PaCO2, that will always move in a opposite direction. That means when the PaCO2 increases, pH will fall down. When the PaCO2 decreases, pH will increase. So if the primary cause, that is metabolic, so pH and bicarbonate, that will always moves in a same direction. That means when the bicarbonate increases, pH will also increase. When the bicarbonate decreases, pH also decreases. So this is a pictorial representation how the respiratory that will move in opposite direction and metabolic that will move in a same direction or the equal direction. So coming to the step number 3, we have to apply the compensation formula for the definitive disorder. If the primary cause is respiratory, so metabolic will do the compensation. We have to calculate the expected bicarbonate levels. So if the primary cause is the metabolic, we have to calculate the PaCO2, that is the respiratory component for the metabolic compensation. So if the primary we got a metabolic acidosis, we have to apply the Winter's formula to calculate the expected PaCO2, that is 1.5 into bicarbonate plus 8 plus or minus 2. So if we get a metabolic alkalosis as a primary disorder, we have to calculate the expected PaCO2 for the metabolic alkalosis, that is by 0.7 into bicarbonate plus 20 plus or minus 5. So this table represent how the compensation that will occur in a respiratory condition. So if you are getting a respiratory acidosis, that is for every increase of PaCO2 by 10 mmHg above 40. So in acute respiratory acidosis, pH will fall by 0.07. In chronic respiratory acidosis, pH will fall by 0.03. Coming to the compensation for respiratory acidosis, so in acute respiratory acidosis, bicarbonate will up by 1 millimoles per liter, and in chronic respiratory acidosis, so bicarbonate will up by 3 to 4 millimoles per liter. So coming to the respiratory alkalosis, that is for every decrease of PaCO2 by 10 mmHg below 40. In acute respiratory alkalosis, pH will up by 0.07. In chronic respiratory alkalosis, pH will up by 0.03. Coming to the compensation for respiratory alkalosis, in acute respiratory alkalosis, bicarbonate will down by 2 millimoles per liter. In chronic respiratory alkalosis, bicarbonate will decrease by 5 millimoles per liter. So this is the pictorial representation how the compensation that can be seen in each disorder, that is in respiratory acidosis. So compensation will be metabolic alkalosis, where bicarbonate retention will be done by the renal tubules. Coming to the respiratory alkalosis, so compensation will be metabolic acidosis, where bicarbonate excretion by the kidney will be seen. So metabolic acidosis, so compensation will be respiratory alkalosis, where carbon dioxide washout will be done by the respiratory system. When we have the primary disorder of metabolic alkalosis, carbon dioxide retention will be done by the respiratory system. So step number 4, we have to rule out any additional disorder along with the primary disorder. That is, when we have the mixed acid base disorder, more than one acid base disturbance that can be present on top of normal ABG. That means when we have the primary disorder of pure respiratory acidosis, so patient might have a metabolic acidosis or the alkalosis. So coming to the step number 5, we have to calculate a anion gap. So anion gap can be calculated with the help of these two formulas, that is sodium plus potassium minus chloride plus bicarbonate, or sodium minus chloride plus bicarbonate. So this anion gap is calculated mainly in a metabolic acidosis to determine what is the cause for metabolic acidosis. So this anion gap represents the concentration of all the unmeasured anion in the plasma. So normal range of anion gap, that is 8 to 12 milliequivalents per liter. So normal anion gap metabolic acidosis, or also called as hypercholoremic metabolic acidosis, so that is the replacement of extracellular bicarbonate, that is whatever the loss of bicarbonate, that will be replaced by the chloride. And we have the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis, so decrease in the bicarbonate is not matched by the increase in the chloride, but rather than increase in the unmeasured anion. So in the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis, where the fixed acid deposition will be seen in the system. So this is the picture representation of how the anion and the cation in the blood in the equilibrium state. So picture number 1 shows the cation and the anion that is in the equilibrium state. So picture number B, where it is showing a elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis where the chloride will be normal. So picture number 3, that is showing a normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. Whatever the loss of bicarbonate, that will be replaced by the chloride. So these are the 3 main causes for normal anion gap metabolic acidosis. So loss of bicarbonate from the GI tract, so loss of bicarbonate from the kidney, and ingestion of too much of bicarbonate to the patients. And these are the causes for elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So ketoacidosis, uremia, lactic acidosis, or toxin ingestion, that's also leading to elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So coming to the step number 6, that's the last step. So we have to calculate bicarbonate when we have the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So this bicarbonate gap helps us to determine what is the additional disorder that is along with the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So it is also called as corrected bicarbonate or the delta gap. So we can calculate bicarbonate gap with the help of this formula, that is anion gap minus 12 plus measured bicarbonate from the ABG. So if the bicarbonate gap sum greater than 30 millimoles per liter, that is indicating a additional metabolic alkalosis also present along with the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So if the bicarbonate gap sum comes less than 20 millimoles per liter, that means coexisting non-anion gap metabolic acidosis also present along with the elevated anion gap metabolic acidosis. So coming to the summary, so ABG is a critical investigation to evaluate oxygenation, ventilation, and the acid-base balance. The main parameter provides insight into respiratory function, metabolic status, and the tissue oxygen delivery for that particular tissues. And clinical ABG is indicated in respiratory failure, shock, metabolic acidosis, alkalosis, and titrate the oxygenation or the ventilator parameters. And these are the references for this particular session. Thank you.